Welcome everyone to my Arlecchino Kit overview. Arlecchino is a brand new 5-star character coming out next patch. In this video, I will go over her kit and explain what she does, and give my overall thoughts on her. Keep in mind that a lot of things are highly subject to change. Arlecchino is a 5-star pyro damage dealer. She scales on attack and has a crit damage ascension bonus. Arlecchino's kit revolves around the Bond of Life mechanic. If you don't know what this is, Bond of Life is a special mechanic that locks a certain percentage of your HP, and once you have received healing equal to the amount of HP locked away, the Bond of Life will clear, and you will gain a bonus based on how much HP was locked away in the Bond of Life. This mechanic is present in some weapons, like Finale of the Deep and Flowing Purity. In the case of Finale of the Deep, using your skill will trigger a Bond of Life that locks away 25% of your character's HP. Once you have healed this amount, the Bond of Life will go away, and you gain attack based on how much HP the Bond of Life locked away. In Arlecchino's case, gaining Bonds of Life will increase her damage based on the percentage of the Bond of Life. Arlecchino's normal attacks can be infused with Pyro once she has a Bond of Life that takes up 30% or more of her max HP. There are multiple ways to gain this Bond of Life. You can gain a Bond of Life from her skill or burst, and even her signature weapon grants a Bond of Life. Arlecchino's skill dashes onto a target and deals pyro damage to surrounding enemies within her skill's range. After her skill animation ends, if there are any Bonds of Life on Arlecchino, she will restore HP equal to the Bond of Life. Enemies hit by Arlecchino's skill will have the Blood Debt effect applied to them. This Blood Debt will last for 30 seconds, dealing pyro damage every 3 seconds. When you use Arlecchino's charged attack, she will absorb the Blood Debt and gain a Bond of Life worth 20% of max HP for each Blood Debt absorbed from enemies. The maximum Bond of Life obtained this way cannot exceed 80% of max HP. Her burst deals AoE pyro damage and grants a Bond of Life worth 15% of your max HP. Going back to her normal attacks, now when you have a Bond of Life worth 30% of max HP, Arlecchino gains a 40% pyro damage increase, and her attacks will all be infused with pyro that can't be overridden. When in this state, Arlecchino's normal attacks will deal increased damage based on your attack multiplied by the current Bond of Life percentage. Each hit will also consume 5.5% of the current Bond of Life. Moving on to passives, Arlecchino has some very unique passives. Firstly, she has a passive that makes her not receive any healing, except healing from her skill. Her first Ascension passive grants her a Bond of Life worth 70% of max HP after defeating an enemy affected by a Blood Debt, and Blood Debts now have levels. A level is gained every 3 seconds for a maximum of 3 levels. Her Blood Debts at level 1 grant a Bond of Life worth 20% of max HP. Level 2 will grant a 25% Bond of Life, and Level 3 is a 70% Bond of Life. And lastly, her second Ascension passive grants her 1% elemental and physical damage resistance for every 100 attack over 1000 attack, up to a maximum of 20% resistance. With all that said, Arlecchino looks to have a very interesting kit. Her kit revolves around gaining and stacking Bonds of Life to increase her normal attack damage. Gaining these Bonds of Life will leave her at very low HP. To help with that, she has a passive that grants her elemental and physical resistance. But I doubt this will help much in terms of survivability. And since she can only heal using her skill, you might want to consider playing her with a shielder. The Bond of Life mechanics do not trigger Marechaussee Hunter's effect, as your HP is not really changing. You can still use this set if you have Furina, as her summons will drain HP even if you have a Bond of Life. However, once Arlecchino reaches 50% of her HP, this set will stop working, as Furina's skill will not drain HP anymore, and you can only heal by using Arlecchino's skill. Her best set will likely be the one coming out next patch, although there might be some other strong options such as Shimenawa's Reminiscence. And as to whether she works with Furina, while Arlecchino does not want healers in her team, it might still be possible to play both units together, as Furina is still a strong unit, and having one less team slot taken by a healer can be manageable. It might even be possible to solely rely on Arlecchino's own healing, and Furina's HP draining to partially stack the buff. However, to make this work you might need precise rotations and timings, but you don't have to run her with Furina, as Arlecchino's best teams might be without Furina, such as a Chevreuse Overload team, a Hyper Carry team, or even a Vaporize or Melt team. I will go over her teams and synergies when I do a full guide. And as for Arlecchino's weapon, it has a high base attack and a crit rate substat. Through its effect, hitting an enemy with a charged attack will grant a bond of life worth 25% of max HP. This effect can only be triggered once every 14 seconds. Additionally, when the character equipping this weapon has a bond of life, damage bonus will be increased by 12%. If the bond of life is 30% of max HP or greater, an additional 20% damage bonus will be granted. For Arlecchino, this will undoubtedly be her best in slot, and for other characters, this will be a decent stat stick. But that's all from this kit overview. These videos are usually meant to be very short and straight to the point. As usual, I will be doing a build guide soon. Keep in mind that a lot of things are subject to change. Thank you for making it till the end, and thank you for watching.